Hello YouTube, TWK here, and welcome to my stream of conscious style video on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Before we get started, yes, my voice is a little sick, so that's why I don't sound as normal as usual, so apologies for that. That is also why this video is a little late. Also, I'm not going to mince words here and just say that this is a Game of the Year contender and easily among one of my favorite RPGs ever made. Yes, that's a lot of praise, but it's all well earned, and hopefully you'll all see why. By the way, there will be spoilers via discussion and gameplay footage up to Cosmo Canyon. Decided to stop there as this game is relatively new and I don't normally do endgame spoilers this soon after a video game's release. First off, the story will follow our crew of Cloud Strife, Tifa Lockhart, Barrow Wallace, Aerith Gainsborough, and Red 13 as they embark to stop Sephiroth, Shinra, and to save the planet. Along the way, they are joined by Yuffie Kisaragi and Cait Sith, with the former desiring vengeance for Shinra decimating her home country of Wutai, and Cait Sith wanting to use his Shinra connections to help the team. The themes of the story continue from Remake, and they somehow hit even harder here in Rebirth. And the one part that always sticks with me is the part from Opera Junon. It's here where Rufus is making his big celebration about becoming the new president of Shinra, which, by the way, is a mega corporation and a government. And while all this insanity is happening, the people attending the parade just treat this like normal. Like, yup, that's our non-elected president. I can't help but feel like we're looking into our future, but I hope with every single solitary fiber in my being that I am wrong. Whilst there is a hefty amount of doom and or gloom, the spirit is still kept mostly high thanks to the interactions between our party members. Every character has chemistry with each other, and that is borderline impossible to pull off, and yet these mad maniacs did it! I could listen to these people banter with each other for hours and hours and hours on end, and still want more, and rare is the day where that happens. And our main party isn't the only source of great dialogue either, as multiple NPCs, returning anew, make their presence known. As for the new, my favorite would have to be the mayor of Lower Junon, Rhonda, but that could be due to the fact that she is one of the protag voices from Saints Row 2. She really has a take-no-nonsense attitude and also outwits Shinra at one point to help us out. And for returning, how can I not choose Cloud's secret boyfriend, Roche? Like, really, they took what was subtext from Remake and said, "That's for cowards, we're going full gay here and it's amazing." Unfortunately, Cloud keeps fighting his inner feelings, but one day, our overly masculine protagonist will admit to his biconic status. These Zack Fares segments were an interesting addition, mainly linear affairs that serve as build-up for the finale of the game. They're pretty good at that, as well as letting us see Sector 5 once again, but there's just one problem: the pacing. You come across the first Zack segment as you start the game, and then you don't see him again until at least 10 solid hours later. Thankfully, they become more frequent afterwards, but that's still a rather large gap. As far as the core gameplay goes, it's Remake, but better. More options for combat, more options for traversal, more everything. I saw quite a few comparisons to Chrono Trigger as far as the double team moves are concerned, and after seeing Cloud and Sephiroth's synergy move, I mean, they aren't wrong. It should be noted that this is a New Game Plus run, which means I'm pretty much stunting on all the hoes, as well as having all my previous overworld exploration carried over. Speaking of the overworld, I feel like it was handled rather well. The more I play games like Dragon Age Inquisition, Mass Effect Andromeda, The Outer Worlds, and now Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the more I'm coming to really dig having separate zones for each explorable area. And being a bit controversial here potentially, I feel like Rebirth executes this idea the best, mainly because every area is interconnected in some way and not just maps separated by loading screens. On top of that, you get to ride chocobos everywhere, and I'd like to ask, who doesn't love riding on a chocobo? On that note, we gotta talk about the minigames. Most of them are located upon the overly bright gold saucer, which you'd assume is owned by Shinra, but no, it's he, Dio! Yes, I finally made a good and proper JoJo's reference, and yes, for the record, I am extremely proud of myself. The first minigame I needed to play was Chocobo Racing, and they, like a dragon did, aka made it basically a fully fleshed out mode that could damn near be its own game. I mean hell, there are almost as many courses here as in your average racing game. On top of that, each chocobo has its own skills and attributes, and the latter can be adjusted with various gear. And let me tell you, winning a chocobo race still feels great, although I do admittingly miss the random prizes you'd get in the original game, but that is a minor nitpick. The 3D duels are here, and let me tell you, not an easy time. Well, at least for me. Then again, I've never been great at Punch-Out style games, so perhaps I'm not the best judge for a game such as this. I can, however, be a decent judge for the motorbike game, and if you enjoyed it in Remake, then you'll get a kick out of it here. If not, then I doubt this will change your mind too much. Oh, and don't think I don't see that tease for a snowboarding game coming in part 3, you cheeky bastards. There's also a Star Fox style shoot 'em up, which replaces the roller coaster shooter from the original game. On one hand, I miss the charm of the original, but this is a fitting substitute, especially since Nintendo still has yet to release a new Star Fox game on the Switch. You fucks! There's also a fully fleshed out card game here called Queen's Blood, easily the best one I've ever seen in a video game ever, period, end of all of the stories. So Final Fantasy VIII, IX, and Witcher 3, they can all suck it in that department. And on top of that, you can find other minigames via side quests throughout your journey in the world of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and that's pretty neat, as it gives you a rather nice incentive to seek them out. And if that isn't enough, quite a few side quests will contain even more banter between your team, which means you know how to do as much as possible. Another area that deserves heavy praise is the town design. Bringing multiple areas from 2D isometric camera angles into fully explorable 3D locations could not have been an easy task, but once again, the Mad Maniacs did it. They didn't stop there either, as they also created a unique location called Crow's Nest, which can only be reached via a side quest. And oh boy, the banter on this one between Cloud and Barret is something you will have to experience if you play this game. Trust me on this one, sirs and or madams. The music is also pretty goddamn amazing. So many tunes from Rebirth are constantly getting stuck in the old noggin noodle, with the catchiest song being, to the surprise of literally nobody I'm sure, the Gold Saucer theme.
Welcome to the Gold Saucer.
There are a few instances of the game reusing songs from Remake, but seeing as how those songs are certified bangers, who am I to complain about that? The one area I could complain about is the length of some of the dungeons, namely anytime your party is split up and instead of going through just one area, you have to go through two. A more positive interpretation could be that this allows the party members to shine via their unique abilities, but being 100% real with y'all, I've never been much of a dungeon crawling person, be it Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, etc., it's just not my jam. I will say that at the very least, we do get story and character advancement here, unlike most dungeons I've played, especially in my youth, where it was 99% gameplay and 1% lore. If you still have yet to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, then please fix that as soon as possible. This game fucks, and it fucks hard. Will it go down as one of the greatest games of all time? Not a clue, as only time will be able to judge on that one. Hopefully, after all the rambling I did here, you can all see why I see this as my current top contender for Game of the Year. The story, themes, characters, setting, gameplay, the damn near everything all comes together to create this borderline masterpiece of a game. The higher-ups in the offices of Square might be evil, conniving capitalist cunts, but these glorious devs have made something truly special thus far with the Remake trilogy. Here's hoping those in charge will allow them to stick the landing. As for what's next, how about a horror game? Thank you all for watching, and hope you all have a perfect rest of your day. Now I'm going to go rest my voice.
Yeah, that was it.
The news outlets are nothing but Shinra mouthpieces spewing propaganda. Only dumbasses believe that shit.
Question. Does that make me a dumbass?
I didn't say that. What I meant was, screw Shinra for manipulating honest folks.